All right, let's do a mic check. Can you hear me, Thompson? All right. See if I can get the chat up here. Okay. Hey, Thompson, I made you my first moderator. Now that I know how to do that, I figured out how to do it. It's been a while since I've done this, done a live stream, I guess you could say. I think my brother is in here somewhere, if he's still watching. Thank you for showing up, Chris. I do have my my middle son in the house. If you want to step in, he's setting off to the side of the camera here. It's my son Ashton. If you guys watched any of my videos, you will definitely have seen him in some of my videos. All right. Yeah, so he's out in California. I'm in Arizona. He comes to visit and brings his RCs and airplanes and helicopters to come out here and play with all the time. We'll probably get some more of that stuff up on the channel here soon. But see if we can get, looks like we got 6 people, but I know one is myself watching because I have another monitor over here that's got a second chat up that's a little bit bigger. That way I don't have to wear my glasses.
And one's me.
Hopefully video's good. I don't know if that light up here is too bright. I can always try turning that off if it looks like it's too bright. But what we're going to talk about today is I've got my ARRMA Creighton XL here. I've also got my wife's Black Betty, which are fully upgraded 8th scale ARRMA bashers. Kind of talk a little bit about the upgrades that I've done with those. What are you saying? Thompson says, I'm going to start going live after I finish my room. That's awesome. I will be in there as soon as you start doing those lives. I've kind of Nitro Freak kind of just got me into watching more of these lives. I watch like maybe three different live streams, but they're big channels, and I really don't say anything too much in them. I just watch them for entertainment, mostly as a podcast after they're recorded. But I'm starting to get a little bit more time. I can do live streaming myself, and I jumped into Nitro's live stream last night. That was freaking awesome. And just decided today that maybe I should start doing a live stream again too. Alan, no, you said, I love the RC rack in the background. Do you have a build video? I do have a video up on my channel. It's not a full build video. I kind of walk everybody through it and talk about everything I did. So this one right here is primarily, it's done out of 2x4s, except for the back piece. The center piece is a 2x3. And that was just wood that I had in the garage, because one of my other hobbies is woodworking. I've built a bar in my house. I've also built a kind of like a barn raised table in the living room, and I've built some other small little wood projects, a lot of stuff for my wife out in her garden. And I've had some wood lying around, and I just, when I moved into this room for my studio, because I was in my garage for the longest time, but in the summertime it's too hot out there. We had a spare bedroom open up recently, and with that, I decided to make this my studio. And all of these RCs used to be scattered on tables in my garage or in my bedroom. My kids had some of theirs stowed in their room too, but got them all put up on this rack. And then I built a second one over here, which is done out of pretty much scrap wood that I have. But I do have a video you could find on. It was recently, probably about maybe 2 months ago. I did it, and I walk everybody through basically what I did. I talk about the screws that I used and how I mounted it to the wall. Basically one set of screws on the boards that I connect to it, which if I grab this camera real quick and move it up, up there on the top, I have support bars that are, one of them's done into a stud in my wall, and the other one is basically regular drywall screws with, I think they're 65-pound weight anchors into the drywall. So I did that, and pretty much this one here, I can grab the top of it, and I weigh 200 pounds, and I can grab it and hang from it, and it doesn't rip it off the wall. So I know it's pretty strong. So yeah, please go check out that video, Alan Knoll, and if you have a problem, you can always message me, and I can send you the link to it. Yeah, Thompson, I've got to go talk to people all over the world, checking out some of their lives, and made some friends as well. I started doing some of the things and jumping into. I jumped into Miss Chab's earlier this afternoon's live stream that she did. That was hilarious. I was also on Brooklyn's live stream earlier. Actually, I was listening to it while I was driving down the freeway to go pick my stepson up from the airport, and that sounded pretty hilarious. I didn't know she was into Hot Wheels. That's hilarious. So, kudos to you, Thompson, for finding that niche and finding those people. And now we just need to get you going on your live streams, and hopefully, I'm going to do more of these moving forward and try to get my watch time hours up. And that's really all that I'm trying to do. But anyways, we've got 10 people watching right now, so I should probably get on topic. So I'll do a kind of a once over on my ARRMA Creighton XL and tell you guys kind of my thought process and what I did and how I started with this. And then we'll do some questions and answers for you guys if you guys have any questions on it. Move my keyboard out of the way. So we'll talk about this body here shortly. Get that moved out of the way. And
Found it.
there's my twist. All right. See if we can kind of get it to where you guys can see it a little bit here. Video's kind of lagging. All right. So I started off with a ARRMA Creighton EXB. It was just a roller. And from there, I had a blast with it. I put it all together. I played with it for a little while, and then decided I wanted to make this thing a little bit bigger. And then about the time, I saw a lot of people stretching it and making the XL version. And actually, I think Thompson, you were on my live stream where I decided to put that Mojave chassis on it. The first time I did a live stream, I think it was like a year ago. I did that live stream, and I stretched it with just a standard EXB Mojave chassis. And then I decided they made these M2C parts, and I kind of went overboard on the M2C. So started off with a M2C Mojave chassis. I got that, and then you get on this side, you have your drive shafts that you need to extend. Your front drive shaft is longer on the XL version than it is the standard Creighton version. So I had to get new drive shafts for the front. So the drive shafts are M2C. I did a whole breakdown video of the build on this. It was, I think, a 4-part series that I did, including the cost. If anybody's interested in checking that video out, I break down all the costs and what it costs to build this thing, which the parts M2C wise, I have not had any issues. I bashed the heck out of this year at our last AZRC Bashers event, and we do a bash once a month starting in October, going all the way to April. Depending on the weather, sometimes May, but this year it was just too hot in April, so we stopped it in April. And I didn't break anything. And actually, technically, that's a lie. I did break one thing. And what I did is on the rear housing here, you have your outdrive, and the gear that is inside your outdrive gear, it actually rounded off inside on the tip of where your outdrive cup goes, and so the cup was just wobbling and wiggling. Now that is actually was an ARRMA part. It wasn't an upgraded part that got hollowed out. So actually I upgraded all that to the Vitatron gears on the inside, and also the outdrive cups. I purchased some M2C outdrive cups for it. Got that put on there, and I don't think I'm going to have any other problems with it. So housing wise, I did replace the plastic diff housings on these, or what they call your bulkhead. I replaced those with the hot racing bulkheads, and the shock towers are all M2C shock towers, both front and rear. They came out with, when I started doing this upgrade, this shock tower brace on the back side, which is right here. And it's a new brace that comes down from your shock tower that goes down to where your chassis brace goes here. And what that does is keep your top of your shock tower from bending when you're hard bashing it. So without that, you're going to get it when it hits hard enough, whether you're a good jumper or a bad jumper like me. Your shock tower is going to start to bend in and flexing, because, if you land wrong, you're going to, hit the wheel. Unless you're a perfect jumper like Rich Duperbash, you're going to bend that stuff. And I did on the stock shock towers. So with that, I got those shock towers and then that brace. The chassis braces that go down to the chassis, those are also M2C Racing. My steering linkage, which is kind of hard to show on a video, but the steering linkage is actually not M2C. That is actually Basher Queen, and that is a part carbon fiber and part 70-75 aluminum, I believe. And I replaced that from the stock one. And then also I put bearings in those. So they actually have bushings on the RTRs that you buy, or the EXB kit that you buy. It has bushings. And that's because there's these two rods right here that your steering linkage sets on. And then there's a bushing that goes on the bottom and a bushing that goes on the top. Well, I replaced those with bearings. And if anybody wants to know what size bearings are, let me know. I think I have them over in my kit over here. I can tell you the size, but I don't remember off the top of my head. The top plate up here is also carbon fiber, and that's from Basher Queen. And then I did have Basher Queen's carbon fiber tower brace right here. Now, that tower brace worked really good, but the last bash of the season, I broke it. And it actually didn't break. For some reason, it separated right here, the carbon fiber going into the aluminum. What is that called? The eyelet, or your rod end, I guess it is, because it's kind of like a rod end. But it separated right there, and I probably could have just glued it back in. But instead of that, I went ahead and put on the EXB chassis brace up here, or tower brace, and it's been good. A-arms on this are all running stock A-arms. They're running the stock EXB ARRMA A-arms, both front, rear, the upper A-arms. And the only reason why I don't run anything else, I don't go get the any aftermarket ARRMs, aluminum ones, or I guess RPM makes a set of the ARRMs for it, is because you got to have a weak point somewhere, and these ARRMs are pretty dang cheap. I get all my extra plastics and everything from Jenny's RC, and none of this stuff is an affiliate for me, so I don't make anything off of that, you guys. But I do want you guys to know that there's a deal. You can go to Jenny's RC, and they rip down these RCs and numerous other types of RCs, and sell off the plastic parts and sell off components. So if you're needing upgrades or easy replacements, I jump on there and do it. And Jenny's RC, and I put that out in my other video of building this thing that I did that. So other than that, shocks, stock shocks, except for the shock caps, which you can see right here, they're silver instead of the black that you would normally get on these bad boys. And that's because they're emulsion shock caps by M2C. And basically what it does is you take out the little rubber gasket that's up in the top that creates the bubble, and you're compressing this down, and then there's a little set screw on the inside here that you loosen up. You're getting all the air out of it. So you're going to get more of, when this thing hits the ground, it's going to slowly rise up instead of spring back up. So when you jump, it's going to hit and it's going to be more planted. Now you're still going to get some bounce depending on your tires, or your terrain, your grass, you're jumping it on concrete, asphalt, you're going to get different operations on it, but it saves a lot. And I really haven't had any issues since I've done them. All of my ARRMA 6S's have it. My wife's Outcast. This is my custom build that I did completely from scratch. And this is the ARRMA Talon. Same thing. They got the emulsion shock caps. So the only difference I can say that I've seen between them is that springiness. So coming off of a line and you come off of a jump, normally, no matter what I did with the spring tension, you're always going to get a little bit of bounce or move around like this. With having that emulsion shock caps, you hit the jump perfectly right, and you come down, it's going to plant, it's going to come up, and it keeps going. Let's see, what else? Let's see if you guys can see here you go. You got the wing mount here. So this wing mount is 3D printed. It's flexible, bends. One of the things I always broke on my ARRMAs when I first got them was those wing mounts. You hit that wing right there, you hit it, and you keep hitting it, and you keep hitting it, it breaks. And then, they're not that expensive. I think they're like $12 to buy a new set of, the wing mounts. But needless to say, I haven't had to replace it. Now, actually, at the end of this bash, I had a black one on here. And I actually pulled the black one off to put on my wife's because hers was one of the original ones that I had. And with taking it and unscrewing it, because it is 3D printed and everything, I think when I put it on the last time, I decided I was, the Hulk, and I tightened it down a little bit too much, and I damaged the plastic that holds it into place, the rubber. And with damaging that, I decided I was going to replace it. And so I gave my wife the option. Does she want the new blue one or she want a black one? And she's like, she wanted a black one because that's her Black Betty. So we put the black one on there, and I had an extra set of these blue ones. So I put them onto my rig. I like blue. So we are good. Other M2C upgrades before we start getting into the electronics is you've got your ARRM hinge pins down here on the rear and the front. So this setup, both front and rear, is M2C, including the pin mechanism in it. And on the front, same thing. You guys can't really see it too well here, but the lower is M2C. Now the upper, I haven't really found a good solution. And when I did this build, M2C really didn't have anything I could put up here that replaced the upper hinge pin. So at least not on the EXB model. And with that, I just left the EXB version up there. I've not had any issues. I think the only thing I've ever had is one of the set screws that holds the pin in right here. Let's see if you guys can see that pin. It's a screw. I've had one of those come off, but I didn't lose the hinge pin. I was able to, I saw it and then just went back to my toolkit. I had an extra one of those screws in place and put it in and we were good. All right. Other than that, EXB, still an EXB bumper. And then some other parts that we have is the knuckles right here, both the front and the rear knuckles, which are kind of hard to see on camera. I'd have to pull the tire off, but I'll show you guys when I break out Black Betty over here. But these are all hot racing knuckles. Now, Vitatron also makes a set. I haven't tried any of those, but I've seen a lot of other YouTubers use them and they love them. I haven't seen any of the US companies like M2C come out with any of the knuckles yet, but I'm sure if they do, I'll probably get a set and put on and try them out. Also, you've got your 17 millimeter hexes. They're normally red. Mine, you can see they're more of like a stainless steel look. So these are actually extensions. So these have a +7 millimeter extension. So it widens your stance. So I have basically 14 millimeters. I shifted this out to extend it. So that gives me a little bit wider stance on the run. And I've noticed a big difference with that, with bashing it. Sending it off a ramp. Before, it was a lot more wobbly like this coming off of the ramp. Because like I said, I'm not the greatest basher ever. I actually suck at bashing, just letting you know if you guys watch my videos. That's why I film everybody else doing the big jumps. So needless to say, I got a little bit wider stance and I've had a lot better success at it, sending it off. Tires that I use is I don't use the Copperhead 2s on my Creighton. I didn't use it on the Creighton and I don't use it on the Creighton XL. I'm using the back flips from the Outcast. I just love how these perform better. Yeah, I got better control in the air. It's basically an Outcast with a longer chassis. And I enjoy them. These tires that are on here, this is the second season. I just completed the second bash season and I've not destroyed these tires, which is surprising because I've ballooned my tires several times and I've not had any issues with these tires. So that's just maybe my luck when it comes down to it, but the tires have turned out awesome. All right, so before we move into electronics, anybody got any questions on the M2C parts or Basher Queen or Hot Racing? The wing mount is actually by a company called 3DRC. Great company. They have several other things. They got 8S plastic parts. I think they even started branching into Traxxas. But yeah, if you guys got any questions about that, and then we'll jump into what I put in electronic wise. This is actually the third set of electronics I've had in this rig. Let's see, not much going on in the chat. Everybody's still there. We got 11 people watching. I want to thank everybody for coming in. Let's see if I can figure out who's all in the stream here. Participants. Does not show.
Where does it show the 11 people? Thompson.
Well, Thompson, you're still here. I appreciate you. All right. Well, it shows 12 people are watching. So I want to thank all 12 of you guys. Even if you don't participate in the chat, it's awesome. I'll still keep talking. I like to hear myself talk most of the time. All right. Well, if we don't have any questions, I'll jump into the electronics. So this is my second set of electronics that I bought. I had a set out of the stock ARRMA Spectrum system that I put in this originally. I ran it. It was good. It's just it wasn't enough power. I was striving for to get a little bit more air, and so I actually put in an 8S system into this bad boy. So I actually put a Castle 8S system, and that was the Mamba Monster X, which is actually in that orange guy, which you can't see up here. Let me grab him real quick. So it's actually inside of this Felony right now. The Castle system that I got. And that's the 1717 Castle motor, which also is the 1650 kV motor. It was awesome. The only issue is it scared the hell out of me in this thing, and was scaring the hell out of me. This thing could do standing backflips, and I didn't know if I really wanted that. I wanted to try to keep that front end a little bit down. So when I decided to buy all the M2C stuff, I was planning some other projects in that system, and I had that Felony that I wanted to also put an 8S system in. So I pulled out that Castle system and moved it into there. And I picked up a Hobby Wing system. And so this is a Max 6 Hobby Wing with a 2250 kV motor. And the model number of this bad boy is, I can't read it. I will, it is an easy run. Yeah, and I can't read the model number on it, but it is the 2250 kV motor, and it is perfect in this thing. I'm only running a 19 tooth pinion in here. It does have the EXB front, rear, and center EXB style differentials in it, and with it having those differentials and a 19 tooth pinion, it's smooth. This thing is actually quick. It's fast off the jump. It actually spins and flips so fast with pulling the trigger. That's where I mess up, because a lot of the times I get mesmerized of it doing flip, and I forget to stop, and next thing you know, I'm landing on the shell. So that's just, like I said, I'm not the greatest basher, but I have a blast doing it. So that's the motor in ESC. Underneath that motor, underneath that ESC, I have Basher Queen's carbon fiber ESC plate, which was awesome because it gives you a spot to mount your power switch right there. So I don't have to double sticky back tape it, because on the Castle system, that little switch, which those switch are horrible on the Castle systems. I usually get some Racing power switches, and I cut the Castle ones off and put the Racing switch on. It's a little bit bigger. They don't break as easy, but they also don't mount too well to these ones. And for this one, I just pulled the back screws off of the power switch and screwed it right into the little plate, and it works pretty good. The servo. The servo mount that's right here is also Basher Queen's servo mount. So it's got aluminum shafts that go down and mount to the chassis plate, and then it's got a carbon fiber top that you mount the servo into. I'm running a Reefs RC, the Raw 500. This is Operation 11 Charlie's edition servo. I picked that up at my local hobby shop, AZ Turn and Burn. They had one on the shelf, and I was like, I'm sold. I wanted a good servo for it. I was looking at those Reefs Raws, and a lot of people were using them in their bashers, and I have nothing to complain. It is super quick. It's enough to get this thing doing whatever I need to do on the ground. Sitting on top of that is the servo horn right here, which is M2C's Tekin version of their servo horn. They're amazing. I actually use them in my crawlers. I think almost every single one of my 8th and 10th scale vehicles has one of those servo horns in it, and just because of how awesome they are. They've got a good lift to them, so I can get up and around some linkages. And on this bad boy, it's not caused me any issues. So that is a nice feature on those servo horns. Power wise, I'm running XT90 connectors on this rig and all my 6S's, because my batteries are all running the XT90s. And other than that, it's controlled. Grab this bad boy. It's controlled from my FlySky Noble Pro that I have. And I love this controller. I'm in the process of doing another review video. I've had this for about 7 months now. And this Noble 4 is awesome. And I love it. I can put up, I think, 20 different rigs in them. I liked it so much, I bought my son the cheaper version, which is just the regular Noble 4, not the Pro. And so I got both styles that they have. And my wife's got an identical one like mine. Like I said, I'm enjoying them. The receivers aren't that expensive. I think I was actually buying them off of Amazon for like $30 for a 4-channel receiver. And there's no real antenna. This antenna, there's nothing in here because the antenna's built in. And if you guys want to know what those receivers look like, you could probably check out one of my SCX24 build videos that I've done, and I show those receivers in there. Let's see, what else? The body is a Proline body that I'm using. This blue body. It's a Proline. It's that C10 long bed. Bars and Tones used it on his build, and I decided I wanted to try it out, so I got it. And I'm really happy with it. I've landed a couple of times on the top of this, and I've not done any damage to it. I do have a couple of other bodies. Or at least one other body I can show you. Hold on a second. So this is one of those basher bodies. So this is by a Turkish guy that I found watched a video on YouTube. Commander ASIC, another YouTuber I was following about when I was building this rig, that he did a build similar to it. He got this body. It's by TMT Bodies. He's out in Turkey, and it's like an indestructible body. You can bend it, and it's a hard plastic. Some of the issues I did see with it is from landing on top of the shell, it is bulging up right here, but it didn't break. It's just bulging. So I'm not, I haven't like cracked it or anything, but with the way that I bash this thing lasted pretty good. So this is kind of when I go do some heavy bashing, I'm taking this shell. If I'm on a live stream and for a show, and I'm going to go rip it around with some friends just in the dirt, I'm not going to do any jumping. That's when I got my pretty shell. And all this paint job is just a metallic blue, and then I've got it a lane coat on the inside to give it the gloss, and then I have a metallic blue underneath it and just backed it in black. So it's just a simple paint job. I got that. So now that we talked about the electronics, Anybody got any questions about that before we break into Black Betty? It doesn't look like I got any questions right now. It just, oh, Chris, you're still here? You like listening to your brother ramble on? Taking notes? My brother Chris, for Christmas, benefited from all of my projects because I built him an Outcast 6S out of all of my spare parts from doing these builds. So he got to reap the benefits of it and got an Outcast. All right. Oh, also, I can't take credit for this, but for my body mounts, I don't use pins. So you can see you can see them protruding through here. These are actually, I guess long set screws that has a little nut that screws onto them and holds the body down. So I actually got this from another YouTuber, and there's a Proline kit that you can buy for these, and he basically cut the top off of his pin or of his mounts right here. He just cut it flush with the I guess the little nipple pieces that stick out that you can put on the little swivel body protection piece. Cut it flush there. He drilled a hole down there, screwed those screws in there, put the body on, and then you have these little grab another one. I just dropped that one. You have just a little twist nut that goes onto it that has a pushed bushing in it that screws in. Now, I bought the Proline kit for my first one that I did, and that was my first V5 Creighton I had that I did it on. But then I started browsing and found that on eBay, there's a guy that actually sells you can buy, I think there's like 20 of them in a pack, and it comes with like 8 of the little set screws. And I think it was only like $12 for them, and you get all of those. And so I bought a bunch of those, and now I have a whole kit full of them. My kids will lose the little nuts for them, or my wife will pull them off, and then one of my kids will help her with a battery, and then one disappears. So I got plenty of them, but I can't deal with those little pins putting them in there. I got big fingers, and that's talking from a guy that built that loves working on SCX 24s, but that's what tweezers are for, right? And magnifiers. But yeah, so I really like the body mounts. It holds really good. It's easy and quick to get them on and off. I do have a video I talk about them and how I did it. I haven't done it like a complete like step-by-step video because now I'm going to kick myself in the butt because I cannot remember the guy's name or the channel's name. And if he's watching this, he's going to be mad at me. So give me a second. East Tactics. So East Tactics did a whole video on how to do this, and that's who I got it from. He's another great basher channel if anybody's looking for that. He primarily deals a lot with the Creighton platform, not necessarily the Creighton XL, but the Creighton platform. And he does a lot of modifications and tests. So you definitely want to check him out if you're looking for stuff like that. And I think he even does like this whole bash series now of, sending it and jumping and all kinds of stuff. And everybody sends their videos in on their channel and sends him the link. And then he does drawings and stuff. It's pretty cool. But needless to say, he's the one that I got the idea from. So you can check out his channel. That would be cool. Let's see. So what did Chris? Oh, Alan, you're still here. Sorry, I didn't see that. Appreciate you still hanging out. So, Chris, you've been bashing the hell out of it, huh? Did you break it again? Can you reach that red and black one up there?
No.
No, you can't. All right, I'll get it here in a second. Okay. All righty. So, if we don't got any questions or anything about that, this one's going to be pretty much a little bit simpler to talk about. There's just a little bit of differences with it. I don't have the tires on this one, so you guys can kind of see the. So that's the hot racing steering linkage or steering knuckles front, and then you got the rear versions here. Kind of took the tires off so you guys can see that. The only difference with this one is this one has Basher Queen made the bulkheads, or your front and rear diff housings, made 7075 aluminum ones. And so I purchased those and put into Black Betty, my wife's rig. Also my wife's rig is running, you can see right here, it's a bumper spring. So it's a 3D printed spring that gives you a little bit more cushion. Mostly because my wife and my youngest son like to play bumper cars with theirs. And so she was breaking her bumper. And so was my son. So I decided to put these little springs on here, these little 3D printed ones, gave them a little bit more cushion, and then I didn't have to replace the bumpers so much. I know, shame on them for playing bumper cars with RC cars, but they did. And they're not bumper cars, they're bashers. So ultimately, the same upgrades that I did to the Creighton, I did to this, except for this is fully an Outcast. So you got the M2C chassis, the hinge pin systems, the towers, the shock tower brace here, the drive shafts, the out drives, everything is all M2C. Same carbon fiber stuff, the steering linkages, the top plate for the steering linkages, the ESC mount, all of that's Basher Queen carbon fiber. But if you do notice, the shocks are not red like a normal shock. Oh, wait. Bashing the bumper cars. Yep. Random person bashing the bumper cars. Yeah. Appreciate you for jumping in on my stream. Thank you for being here. Yeah. So getting back to it, you notice that these shocks are silver. So they are ARRMA shocks. But this Outcast actually started off as a 19th anniversary Outcast. And if I grab the body that my son can't reach, this is the original body that came on this RC.
Did you read what Chris said?
Actually, oh yeah, I missed what Chris said. Actually, I think they're both broken right now and haven't had a chance to go to the hobby shop. Hobby shop or come to your brother's house, right?
Yeah.
All right. So anyways, this is the original body that came on this. This actually came with the guy that I bought it from. He was selling it used. He sold me it with this body and this body that is actually my wife's favorite body. It survived a fire, an ESC fire, and it kind of melted. She actually took some of my wow, I just had my brain just went blank.
Brain fart.
it's the vinyl, my sticker vinyl, and she cut out these little eyeballs out in white and drew the little eyes on it. So she says, so this is her mean face, and she looks mean when she's out there bashing. And because it melted all over here, I reinforced it with some. This is just that carbon fiber tape that I put in there to kind of hold it into place. Holds the shell in, everything runs good, and she likes it. I have a basher TMT basher body for her that she ran several times. Hey, Nitro Freak, welcome to my channel. Appreciate you coming in. Todd, how easy are those to repair? It depends. When I first started working on the ARRMAs, I thought they were a pain in the butt. But after I figured them out and figured out how simple they are and how universal this is, if I take this whole front end off of here and take the whole front end off of the XL that I had, I can swap them. It's the same thing. The only difference is it's the chassis. And then once you realize that, the hardest thing really is just rebuilding the differentials. And it's just like any other differential, whether you're building a low C differential or anything, they're kind of all the same. It's just, however many teeth they put inside of their, of each one for the mesh rate. But it's not really that hard. I can tear this RC down probably all the way down to nothing in probably about an hour. And that's just because I've done it so many times and I've cleaned them and take them apart. When it comes to my RCs, you can see that this is very shiny. That's because I strip them down after every bash, clean them, check all the gears, redo oil. The only thing I don't do is the shocks every single time. But I re-grease everything, put it all back together. I do not take apart the differentials every time, but I do replace the grease in the housings every time after I go out to a bash. And that's just me. I'm meticulous. Some people think that you don't need to do it that much, but I don't know. I enjoy wrenching on it. And every time I take it apart, I always learn something new about it. So, to kind of answer your question on how easy it is, it's really, I don't see a difference between wrenching on this than I would like, the Losi Muggy or, the Losi LST that I used to have. I don't really see a difference in it. And I talk about Losi Muggy because eventually on one of my streams here in the future, I'll break out my Losi Muggy and kind of show you guys my E conversion on it. But not going to go too much into detail on the rest of it. This does have the carbon fiber tower brace I was telling you guys about. We haven't had any issues with the one in the Outcast, just the one that was in my my XL that we were talking about earlier. I had an issue with it. Now you notice there's a lot more involved on this bad boy here. So I actually made custom fans for mine, cooling fans. They spin at I think 1800 RPM. I did a whole video and talked about about these fans. I got the idea from East Tactics on YouTube. He had one. So I did the custom fans. It's a 3D printed mount that sets on top of the electronic motor there. Bolted those down. They run and cool it. So this does have a Castle system. This is running the Mamba X ESC, and it's running a 2250 kV Castle motor. It is censored. So I do have a sensor wire in here. I know a lot of people don't like running the sensor wire on their bashers, but I've never had any issues. I know people talk a lot about the, I guess it's the cutoff that you get from running a censored motor on a basher, but I don't think we've ever had any issues. And, heating wise, I fixed the heating issue with the Castle motor with my cooling fans. I didn't design this this 3D printed mount here. I found it on Thingiverse. I printed them out and they run awesome. And then, you know, of course, these ARRMA logo ones I found on Thingiverse too. And it works pretty good. If he's in here, and I don't know if he is, it's probably Alan Knoll. But one of my mechanics said that he was going to jump into my feed. But he actually does a lot of the 3D printing for me because he has a 3D printer, and my oldest son has not replaced my 3D printer yet. So he's printed a lot of these parts that you're seeing here that are 3D printed for me. Except for these ones. These are the blue ones. He printed me black ones, which are actually on my my felony up there right now. Also, with running these fans, they are a 12-volt system. So you have to run a voltage regulator, which I have right here. It's a 12. This will actually go all the way up to 48 volts, but I have it. It has a potentiometer in it that you can turn down. So it's kind of like a variable resistor that you can turn down, adjust your voltage so you get the voltage you want. So it doesn't matter what voltage you put in, it's always going to send 12 volts out of it. So I picked these up so I can run directly from my battery. So if I'm running a 6S battery in here, I know that my fans are only getting the 12 volts. The only reason why I say that is because I've made that mistake not thinking that, and I blew some fans. Trial and error. Yep, I did. And that's, and I'm an electrical engineer and I didn't think about it. So yeah, so I blew the fans. So with doing the research, I realized that they don't like to work above 12 volts when it's a 12-volt fan. So when you push in 24 volts into it, not the greatest, right? Or the 27 that you would put into it. So with that, I added the voltage regulator, adjusted it down to where it's only doing the 12 volts. And that's awesome. And then, so that's all custom wiring, the loom work. I zip tied it to the upper chassis, the chassis support up here. So it's just zip tied into place right there. Run an XT90 connector. And she's a beauty. I am running the 3D printed wing mount on this bad boy also. Nice and flexible. I am planning on doing a video about these fans and how I put them together. I've built some for some of the guys in my bash group. A good friend of mine in Thompson's RC, Derek from Derek's AZRC, a really good friend of ours. I built a set for his Mojave that he has, and he has a Mojave EXB, that 7th scale ARRMA. And I built a set for his. It's not something that I'm looking at, you know, ever trying to make money off of, because there's a lot of companies out there that do it. Who wants to make money off of that anyways? I just would probably, I'll do a video showing you guys what I purchased and how I put it together. So if anybody wants to try it for theirs, you guys are more than welcome to. It's not a secret. I got the information from another YouTuber. I might as well share it out. So I probably will do a video on that, on how I put it together and what components I bought and how and where I got them from. Like I said before, I'm not affiliated with any of these companies, so it's nor do I really want to be affiliated. This is my hobby. Let's see. So you guys got any questions about that? Oh, the servo. The servo that I'm running in this bad boy is pretty much the same servo that I'm running out there in my my XL, and it is a Reefs servo. It's the RAW 500. It's just the standard one. Now the other one, I got that Operations 11 Charlie one, which is awesome. I don't think there's really a difference other than the color, and then the fact that some of that money goes to Operation 11 Charlie, which is awesome. Let's see here. Nitro. Hit that thumbs up, everybody. That's what Nitro says. Alan. Thanks for the reminder. I completely forgot. What did he remind? Oh, talking about Nitro, tell him to hit that thumbs up.
Yeah.
Thompson RC. I still running those motor supports. Oh yeah. So what I did for Thompson RC is that I found he has some 3S RCs, and so I found these little motor mounts for the 3S because the motor kind of sits there and floats. And so what he needed was something underneath it that helped support that motor so it didn't bend that motor plate on his 3S ARRMAs. And so that's what he's talking about. I found those and printed them and sent him some. So that's cool. You still got to let me know which ones worked best for you. I don't know if it was the one that was at that the angle or if it was the straight U-shaped one that you did. But in case I have to print more of them for you. 11 people in the house. I think this is the most people I've ever had a chance to talk to in a live stream. Other than when I'm doing other things, but 11 people in a live stream. That's awesome. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate Nitro Freak for coming in and saying hi. Thompson for coming in and saying hi. Let's see here. Oh, the angle one works best. Okay. All right. I know which one it is. I'll make sure I save that file in case you need more and we got to get some more out to you. All right. We got 5 thumbs up. That's good. That's good. All right. Oh, you did pick up a 3D printer. Well, I could send you the file that I used, Thompson, and then you can probably knock that out yourself. You know what I mean? I'm more than happy. Or I'll send you the link of where I downloaded it from because I think I did get that off of Thingiverse. All right. So yeah, that's really what I had planned to, kind of talk everybody through. I'm not going to break out, another 8S and show you, or not 8S, another one of my 8 scales and show you because it's pretty much the same thing. Just wanted to kind of show you guys the difference between the XL and then working on this this Outcast. And the Outcast had a little bit more additions to it, especially with the motor and the fans. But I became a huge ARRMA fan when it came to dealing with at least their electric stuff. And when I started in RC, I will say started in the hobby of RC, not, my dad buying me the cheapies from Sears. Yeah, my son's over here laughing at me about it. But needless to say, I started actually in the Nitro, and I started with the RC10s, the Team Associated or Associated Electronics RC10s. Started with a couple of those, and then ended up getting into more of the 8th scale line and going with a Hyper 7, and actually what I was thinking about doing, I should probably throw them up in my community so you guys can see. I have pictures of my original ones, and I actually have a whole photoed pictured thing of when I did my conversion of my I actually bought a Losi Aftershock, and I'm sure I'm going to send Nitro Freak back in the day about what an Aftershock was. But I found in a forum, somebody talked about how you can convert an Aftershock into the LST-XL. And I went through his forum back in the day, figured out exactly what he did, and did it myself. And did the conversion. And so I have a bunch of old digital pictures that I have saved on my computer of that build and what I did. I'll probably throw them up in my community tab so everybody can see those pictures. Not the greatest paint job, but it kind of looked cool. But I miss my Nitros. Actually, being that you're on the stream, Nitro, and I was telling you about it the other day, this is one of the rollers that I picked up. So this is actually completely stripped. There's actually two bodies right here. The other chassis is in pieces in a box in my garage, but this is what I picked up. Two of these for $200, and then I had $180 into another roller that I picked up. So I got three of these. Oh, Alan, you want to know what a Hyper 7 is? Got it. So a Hyper 7 is a buggy, and I'll show you what a picture is. So it's an 8th scale buggy. Looks kind of similar to this size, but it's different. A totally different front end, smaller shocks. So I'll show you. Alan, everybody else in the feed, if you look, Alan, he's my mechanic at work. That
I say hi.
But yeah, I'll show you what it is. But it's just an RC buggy. It's just the name. Like this is called a Muggy. That was called a Hyper 7, and then they had Hyper 8s. The number changed as they got newer ones. And then there's a whole backstory about ARRMA, and then going into Habayo and Habayo. But yeah, I can explain all that to you later. Yeah, Nitro, he's saying a classic Muggy. Nice. Wow, that's cheap Muggy. Like gold, everyone wants them. Yeah, so the funny story behind it is that my oldest son, who's in the Army now, stationed in Alaska, he's actually here on vacation, except for he's visiting friends right now, or he'd probably be sitting in the background here. When he was 8 years old, I was heavily into the Nitro, and I actually found a guy that was selling one. It was fully ready to run Nitro Muggy, and I bought it and got it all built up for him. It was running awesome. He loved the thing, and went through some hard times between him and separating from his mom, and I ended up having to get rid of my Nitros for a while, and then ended up getting back into it. But he kept asking me every day when I got back into doing the RCs again. He was like, "Dad, man, wouldn't it be cool if we got that Muggy back? I really liked that Muggy." Oh, wait a minute. Nice. I was stationed in Alaska, in Fairbanks years ago. Yeah. So he's just outside of Anchorage. He's on that Air Force base up there is where he's stationed. He's and I don't know his code because I was not in the Army. I was in the Navy. But I know that he works in the armory, and he's one of the small arms repair guys. And I'm sure he's going to watch this stream later and then smack me for not knowing what his job is.
No, he's just going to slap you for mentioning that.
Yeah. If you guys hear it, my middle son's sitting over here on the other side of my room, and he's helping me with the chat, making sure I stay up to date on the chat.
Kind of.
He's my admin assistant for today. But yeah, so he really wanted one, and he was getting ready to leave for boot camp, and I happened to find a guy that was getting rid of one on Facebook Marketplace, and so I made a deal with the guy and went and picked it up. The guy had already started an electronics conversion on the Muggy, and so I basically redid his conversion and used some ARRMA parts especially for the electric motor and all that, and mounted it up and got it all put in there. So I'll put some pictures up of that. I also have a couple of videos up about that Muggy and the build that I did on it. But needless to say, Nitro, it's not easy to find parts for these things, and that's what my original thoughts were when I bought these two additional rollers, was to have extra parts for him on his electric one. But me and him have been toying with the idea that this one's already built up. Why don't we just finish this guy out and let's get a nitro engine to put in it. Let's I know I need to get the gas tank and all that stuff for it, but we may get this bad boy raring to go as our first nitro.
What would be your second if you're thinking of getting one?
My second
Nitro. Like if you're thinking of getting one.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I'm not. My son asked me if I wanted to get another nitro, what would be my next one I was looking at getting, and my answer is I'm not looking for a nitro. I think I want to go like fifth scale and go gas. All right. So, yeah. So this bad boy is probably going to get a nitro engine, and then we'll use the third roller as parts. I guess the other thing would be looking at whether or not I can do any machining to make some of these replacement parts going forward. All right. So let's see. We got 11 people still watching. Thanks, everybody. We've been going, dang, 84 minutes ago. Seven thumbs up. That's awesome. Yeah, Nitro, that's what's going to keep me hooked to your channel is those fifth scales. I want to get up close and personal and look at some of that, especially that one that was sitting behind you last night that looks like all blacked out. I can't wait till you maybe on one of the lives I'll ask if you could pull it out so you can hold it up to the screen so we could see it. That thing looks sick. Leave it to you, Alan, saying anything will fit depending on, you would try to put a 454 engine inside of an RC if you could.
I would like to see that, though.
See Nitro Feek. I can give you all. Yeah, thank you, sir. And I will ask. I'll remember. As long as you're not into other conversations, you're looking for a topic, I might throw that out there to you. All right. So anybody got any questions about what I talked about? I know I was kind of brief and quick going through, the parts. I have a lot of video out there on the builds. If you want to, see more about each of the builds and what to do. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me at any time. You can email me. I do have my email up on my channel page. It's stitch@skhobbies.com. You can email me there. If you have Facebook, you can find me at Stitch SK Hobbies. On Facebook, Instagram, the same thing. You should be able to find me there if you need to ask me questions. Nitro Freak. I was in high school, put a Chevy 350 in a Fiero. And people said it couldn't be done. Right? Yeah, my dream build I built in actually I was stationed in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, and I bought and it kind of makes me jealous seeing you have that Camaro behind you, but I had a 1968 Chevy Camaro that I bought in Hawaii and started rebuilding it there. Got transferred and I was heading back east to go to school for my A school or C school in the Navy, and I didn't want to take it to the weather that was out there. And my parents were living in San Diego, California. They had a garage, so I had it shipped to them, and they put it in their garage. And to make a long story short, they ended up moving it out of their garage and setting it under a carport on their lower property. And they lived up in the mountains of Lakeside, and it got taken over by rats and snakes and tore the car inside of the interior up and everything. And in the process of me rebuilding it at the time, my ex-wife had made me make a choice between her and the kids or the car, and so I chose her and the kids, and I had to part with the car, and it's been one of my biggest regrets. But I love my kids to death, not just because one's sitting here.
Wow, I see how.
You know I love you.
Yeah, but still, could have chose
Yeah.
a car.
I would have never chose a car over you guys.
Still,
I may be dumb, but I ain't stupid. Yeah. So I had to get rid of the car, and my oldest son, his name's Harlan, and is not here right now. Regrets that, and he lets his mom know all the time that she should have never made me get rid of that car.
Yeah.
I think it's because he wanted to inherit it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. All righty. We talked about a lot. I mean, I have a lot of different types of RCs. I'm really big into crawling too, but that's for another stream. Got my rest of my bashers. I do have a fifth scale that I could show you, Nitro, while you're on the stream. It's big. Oh, and I don't even know if you'll be able to see it on camera. It might be too big.
Yeah.
We will see. We'll see with the camera. Yeah. So it's the Outcast 8S. There's nothing big in it. It is stock. It is the EXP version. It is running a huge motor. It's got basically a big coffee can in there. Alan says I want one. You might have to reach out to Snap-on and see if you could get one on Snap-on, Alan. But yeah, so that's my big guy. But this is one of the ones I'm going to be downsizing from, and I'm going to rehome this bad boy so I can possibly work my way into the gas room. Besides, I need a spot to put it in. That area is where he's got it. The gas one's got to go. All right. Well, what are we at? We're at 90 minutes. We're getting there. See what we got. Seven thumbs up. 11 people still watching. Well, I got to figure out some more topics to talk about. I mean, yeah, you got to have free space. Well, I do have a 3-car garage, but I've promised my wife that she's going to get some of her garage back. So I'll let the kids fight for more space in the garage for when we get more RCs, because I know you can't just buy one. It's like a Lay's potato chip. You can't just take one chip and say, "Yep, okay, that's all that I needed, just one chip." No, you're going to eat half the bag. Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like that with animals, because I look at Nana's house now.
Yeah. All right.
Oh wait,
so let's see what else we got here. You guys got any other questions? Yeah, I see Nitro. You're saying, well, a good one. I should say, yeah. I'm really looking at possibly getting that 5T. That's why I was asking you about it the other day, what your favorite was, because I've been thinking about that one. With the AZRC bashers out here that the AZRC bashers actually has its own sponsor. It's a Red Cat sponsor, and we can get get a decent deal on getting the Red Cat gas one. A friend of mine, Ivan, has two of them that he lets me play with, and they run pretty good. But I just don't know exactly what I want to get. But I every time I see somebody break out one of those 5Ts, I'm all over it. See, it would be the best money you ever spent. Yeah. Well, you were saying in your live stream that it's the whole thing of you bashing the heck out of that dang thing and then not breaking anything. That's a plus. That's why I invested all the money into those bashers, because I didn't want to have to spend $30-$40 every time I came back home. Put all the money to it first and then bring it home, and all I got to do is clean it up or take it apart and re-grease it because I have nothing on it to fix. You're addicted to gas engines. Yep. I would agree. And, gas engines are probably a hell of a lot easier to work on than it is to deal with tuning a nitro engine. That was some of my biggest issues that I had with my nitros, was getting it tuned. But once you got it set, you got those needles set and everything, it was pretty good. It was, they fired up almost every time for me. It's just getting to that part to where after you got to break in a new motor and getting it dialed in properly. Yeah. And the guy I was just mentioning, Ivan, he's a nitro guy, and if I ever got into nitro again, I'd probably have him tune my engines for me so I didn't have to worry about it.
And I'm pretty sure he would gladly do so.
Yes, Ivan would gladly do so.
So I'm pretty sure he has fun doing it.
But I haven't done any nitro in probably 10 years. What is it? 2003? Yeah, 2014. Yeah, 10 years. I haven't had a nitro since 2014. So. Oh, so so Nitro Freak. You're the guy that everybody comes to and says, "Hey, I got a problem, or I just got this nitro engine and got to get it." Yeah, I understand. You're the tuner. Well, with me being in Arizona, it's a long ways for me to go, and you can't tune it over a phone. But yeah,
FaceTime or video call.
FaceTime or video call. You still any engine, you got to hear it, and a phone's going to distort it.
That's
Yeah.
true.
It's strange. We have a huge fifth scale track out here that it's all for fifth scale electric and gas. That it's called Fear Farm, and they put this whole track in that basically they run races every weekend out at that track. I guess probably one of the things I need to do is get out to that track and go take some video of it so everybody can see what this place looks like. But it's apparently they've run a national fifth scale race out there back in the day, and then it shut down for a couple of years, and now it's reopened back up. Nitro Freak. I have great vids showing how to tune to help a lot of people over the years. Sweet. Yeah, that's the one thing I got to get into is I got a bunch of your videos saved in my my watch list, so I got to find some time to sit down and go through those. All right, so I gave myself 2 hours. We're at 96 minutes, so we got about another 97 minutes now. So we're at 23 minutes. I gotta fill up and see if we can make it. We're still got 11 people strong here. I want to appreciate everybody coming in. This is my first time using StreamYard, so I've not really used StreamYard. I've always used OBS in the past. When I film my videos, I do a lot through OBS and doing my filming of my videos in my studio. So Thompson RC talked to me. It was earlier this year. We were talking about jumping on a live stream together. We just never got that done yet. And he was mentioning using StreamYard. And so I had already set it up and had it on my computer. Oh, missed something. Nitro Freak, definitely a great live. I got to get in here more now that I've met you. Oh, yeah, for sure. You're always welcome. One of the things that me and Thompson were talking about doing was doing some joint live streaming where it gets streamed to his channel and to my channel too. We have another friend of ours, Derek's from Derek's AZRC, that would probably jump in, but we could probably do something like that and let everybody get in. It's my first time live streaming in probably 8 months, so getting back into doing some more of the live streaming. And this, to me, was awesome. Usually I'm talking, and Thompson can tell you, I'm usually talking to 6 people. But now I've got, I've held 11 people pretty strong for a while now. It's been, it maybe dropped down to 9 and then hit 10 and went right back up to 11 through the whole stream. So it's a good time. I appreciate everything Thompson's done, Nitro Freak. I appreciate everything you've been doing. Even though I just met you a couple of days ago, it's awesome. Speaking of that, I am going to, bring this up. And
Nitro said, well, I need to get all my RC people in here, then we can get you more people for sure.
All right, Nitro Freak. Thompson RC ended up being my first moderator for my live streams. I just made you a moderator too. So I've actually officially got 2 moderators for my live streams moving forward. I need to get all of my RC people in here, and then we can all get you more people for sure. Yeah, I think I'm a lot like you, Nitro. I'm not doing this to make money. This is my hobby. So I think it'd be cool to get monetized because I can give back to my community with whatever I get from it. And that's really all I would be doing moving forward. I do have 1,600 subscribers. I think I'm at 1,640 total, which is awesome. I know a lot of that came from some of the YouTube shorts that I used to do. I was doing YouTube shorts when YouTube shorts weren't cool.
Yeah, now that's what I want all the time.
Thompson, check out Jeremy TRC Stitch. He's running the 5th scale too. Oh, sweet. Yeah, I think I saw him on Nitro's last stream, and I believe that I did subscribe to him. I've subscribed to I think 15 people that day. Every time Nitro said subscribe to this person, I was subscribing to him. To the fact I don't even remember subscribing to some of them, and then I said, oh yeah, I did subscribe to Mrs. Chaps, and then I got on her stream earlier listening to the karaoke stuff while I was working today. Mm-hmm. There's a Nitro Freak. There is a lot of RC live streamers these days. We need more, so good to see others doing lives. Yeah, and then Thompson's going to get his studio and area squared away, and then we're going to start seeing him doing some live streaming too. Yeah, I tell you the truth, Nitro, I love all kinds of RCs. I am not a guy that wants to send my RC up in the air, so I'm not a flyer. I do have a couple of drones. I had a catastrophic failure with a huge expensive drone that was given to me. which Thompson, I still haven't fixed. It's still in the box in my on my shelf, storage shelf in the garage, but eventually I'll get it fixed. But that was my fault with the battery. Sent it up, battery came loose, drone come down. I'm not into planes. My brother, who I think was on here, I don't know if he still is, he is big into the planes, and he does a lot of the RC plane stuff. So if you ever see me flying a plane, it'll probably be one of his. But one of the things I've always wanted to do, because I did serve in the Navy and I got out of the Navy, I was a submariner, is it's on my bucket list to build me an RC submarine for my swimming pool.
That would be nice.
So that's one of my things that I want to do, is build one of those hobby grade RC submarines. I think that'd be cool. And you guys will probably see it on the channel. And I'll probably drive it around a couple of times, and then it's going to sit on my shelf back here. Because I don't want to break it. I love it all as well, no matter what. Oh, yeah, no, for sure. And you got what you want. You know, gas is awesome. I've never actually had a gas RC. All of mine, like I said, I was in nitro. I've done electric. I've done Sears. And I've done Tamiya now. This is my lunchbox, my baby. I wanted one when I was a kid, and my dad wouldn't buy it for me. And so I bought it for myself. Yeah,
30-something years later. 30-something years later.
Yeah. Age don't matter.
Nope.
My son over here I don't know if you guys heard him on the stream. I don't know if the mic picked him up, but he said it only took me 30 years. Yeah, I saw your comment on that nitro. I saw it. Oh, Poker Rossi is in the house. Welcome. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the live. I think Nitro's been missing you, Poker. He's been in here trying to hold the conversation for me to get me through my 2 hours. Let's see what said Nitro. I had a barefoot. Yeah. Hey, you had those, Thompson, you got those from that Santa Claus dude, didn't you? You got one of those barefoots, didn't you? Yeah, Nitro, the barefoot. Yeah, those are pretty cool. I do want a Midnight Pumpkin. I'm not sure if I really want a Grasshopper. I think that would be more for nostalgia purposes, but I think I love the look of this lunchbox. I love the look of that Midnight Pumpkin. I think those are awesome. The barefoot, that's the one that looks like almost like a Bigfoot. But I don't know. I'd probably get one of those too, but I eventually I'm going to get, I think the next Tamiya that I buy is going to be a Midnight Pumpkin.
I think having a Midnight Pumpkin would be cool. Well, you're up to 8 thumbs up now.
Yeah, I'm 8 thumbs up because Poker Rossi's in the house.
Yep.
Yeah. And we are going to add.
Too many.
No, it wanted the Y.
Oh, okay.
Back to my stream. All right.
There you go. Yes, I know about Nitro.
Yes, I know about this from Nitro. Clodbuster. The Clodbuster, I mean, that's a branch into, I guess the OG monster truck era. That's what everybody wanted, was those Clodbusters, until they started coming out with those low C LMTs. I actually had a low C LMT for a while, and it was good, but I kept breaking it. I couldn't ride it on the ground without something breaking on it. And I realized that me and the LMT did not get along. And I didn't feel that I was going to have wanting to spend the money to upgrade everything and get it all metal and aluminum and all that stuff. So Oh, Thompson RC, you got one of the limited edition candy green grasshoppers? Oh, that is sweet. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking for that video. If you don't get your studio done up in time, maybe you could just build it on a live and we can chit chat. Yep. All right. Well, I do appreciate everybody coming to my live stream. This is awesome. I'm now at 12 people in the house, eight thumbs up. That's awesome. I guess another like nostalgia one that I'd like to have back in my RetroPro back here would probably be getting an OG OFNA version of the Hyper 7, not the Habayo version. I could buy a Habayo version, but I think it'd be kind of cool to have one, get it all done up nice and pretty, and then because it's an OFNA Hyper 7, run the hell out of it, because those things are like tanks on freaking wheels. They don't break. That's the one thing I was proud about my Hyper 7 is that I jumped the hell out of that thing. I ran it in races. I ripped it up and down the street, and the only thing I had to worry about was replacing the tires. Oh, you just got to get those shelves up. Well, if you have any questions, Thompson, you got my number. You can give me a call and But yeah, getting those shelves up, that's awesome. I love mine that I built. And I got room for expansion all the way up at the top. Yeah.
We could put 2 more RCs up there.
Yep. All right. Okay. So so Thompson RC, how long do you think it's going to take for you to get those shelves built, get everything cleaned up, and jump on your first live so we can all move over there? I think Nitro was just saying you got about 15 minutes till my stream's over. You almost done? Yeah. So I guess I could fill some. I got a few minutes. I could fill some time in on. So I haven't even done a video on these bad boys yet. This is one of my other passions I have in the SCX 24s, which this really isn't an SCX 24 anymore. It's more of a Furatech build, but it is a cool little crawler. Yeah, but what I did is this is a model. This is a 1965 Chevy Stepside. Full little model kit. It's got a full interior in it that I done all up. It's magnetic and just... But I got a video coming up on that bad boy. And we'll be talking about this entire build and the run video on it. So if any of you guys are interested in crawlers or these little tiny crawlers, I think one of the coolest things I did is I tried my first. It's not really patinaed, but it's more like wood. I did some wood painting, doing some color shading for the bed, and I don't know if you guys can see it a little bit. Camera really doesn't do it too justice, other than the fact that my light back there does it, but you can see I kind of tried to get some grain into it. So, yeah. But yeah, so I have this one, and I have two other ones that I'll be debuting in a video here soon about my build on these and how I got it to actually a 25th scale model to mount on and make it actually look like it's a crawler. Yeah, that's what I did, Nitro, is I put that wood deck, kind of try to make it a wood deck bed. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted a lot of people do like the scale builds of these things, and they make this look like a scaled pickup truck. I wanted to make a freaking monster truck that crawled, but I still wanted to have a cool interior. I wanted it to make, you know, a hard body. And that's what I did, is I took one person's idea of doing a scale build and another guy saying, I want to do an ultimate crawler in the SCX 24. And I mashed them together and created this bad boy. And then I kind of reproduced it two additional times for two different style of bodies that I have. I did an old, what is it? It's a 1940 Willie body I mounted on one. And then I also have a 55 classic Chevy body that I mounted on one. I did try doing a car. I have a 56 Bel Air that is up on my shelf up there that I did a car body, but I found out being able to put an interior in it, it's no bueno. It's too, the walls are too, I guess the door height is just way too small for it to be able to get the interior in and it not look like it's floating above the body. It would look like, you know, one of them, you know, monster dam trucks sitting on top of it. See, Thompson RC, am I going to get into the FMS 24s? I thought about it. I'm thinking about Furatex 24s that they just put out, the ones that kind of look like they have the truck bodies where you can get them in 4 or 6 wheels. I was looking at a couple of those. I might get an FMS 24. I did get a TRX 4M, which is the Defender one. I got one of those. Not really impressed with it on its performance and any of the upgrades I did for it. But my younger son really likes it, so he, you know, that's pretty much his rig. But yeah, the FMS 24s, I've been thinking about it. I think I kind of got turned off because a lot of people were complaining about the portal axles that they put on it. That there were some issues with them, and I just never got around to getting them, and I kept getting different SCX 24s and custom building them. All right, Nitro, you know, I appreciate you stopping by. The stream's almost over too. You know, I've got about another 4 minutes, and then we're going to jump off of here, and we'll see what other people are doing for lives. And I appreciate you guys all showing up. Thank you for the watch time. Thank you for the likes. Thanks for hanging out and giving me someone to talk to, so I wasn't talking to myself, even though I probably would have. I would have sat here and talked to myself the entire time. You know, I think all of us that are YouTubers, we do it all the time when we make a video. All right, Nitro, later. Thank you. Thompson's been one of my diehards since I started doing, shoot, I think I had, what, 50 subscribers? I think, was that the most, Thompson? I think that's what it was. Most of the subscribers were my family. But you know, me and Thompson, and then we had Derek's from Derek's AZRC. Alan, I would still watch it even if you're talking to yourself. Well, I know you would. I know you would. I talk to myself all the time. You guys just don't hear it when I'm sitting in my office.
I think it just runs in the family.
All right. Well, all right. Well, anybody else? Anybody got any questions? Any topic they want to talk about?
That face.
Are you smiling at me, or are you giving me the O face?
Oh. Pretty sure that's the old face.
All right. Anybody else doing some live streamings here? Oh, Miss Chabs. Miss Chabs is on.
We're at 118 minutes.
All right. Well, I think we're pretty close. I'm running out of things to talk about, and I don't want to just sit here and not say anything and stuff like that. So I think we're going to go ahead and cut it. I appreciate everybody being on here. Alan, I guess I will see you Monday or talk to you Sunday when you call to bother me. Thompson, later. You need any help or support or figuring something out when it comes to those shelves? You know how to get a hold of me, and we'll talk to you guys all later. I appreciate everything you guys have done. Don't forget to watch my videos, like, and subscribe. I'm Stitch, SK Hobbies AZ, and I'm out.